Welcome to the Karyn Reece Show. I'm psychic medium Karyn Reece with my wonderful co-host, Alexa Zappia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, you've been busy.
I have been busy, and I don't have that much downtime, but when I do, reality TV is my thing.
I was just going to say you have a few extra pieces of time coming up this week, or a little time off.
A little.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
So how are you going to spend
Couple
it?
days.
Wait, let me guess.
Just a couple days. I need to binge watch all the shows that I don't get to watch when I'm working. So I have a couple days off. So let's hope.
That'll be fun. And our favorite, which you hooked me into.
I know. I will take credit for this. I won't take credit for much, but getting you on Real Housewives, I will. Not getting you on the show, but like getting you addicted to the show.
The show is very addictive.
Yes.
Any of them,
but
really.
All of them. Jersey's my fave. Like, it's always been my fave, always will be my fave. But I think, honestly, so although I do work with Andy Cohen and I love him dearly and he's great, besides the point, I just think he's an absolute genius. And I think it's because he's allowed his network and his shows of the franchise of Real Housewives, or any shows really that he's been in part of, to expose different people and different cultures and different backgrounds and lifestyles to, everyday America, that we might not necessarily be able to be exposed to otherwise, which I think is amazing and genius.
Well, and I also think about reality TV, what's nice about it is you get to see people being more real, so you get a better understanding. Although, funny thing, I think people, anytime they watch TV or they're watching movies or whatever, they always assume that person is just like that role. With fiction, that's obviously not true, but with reality-based TV, you really do get a sense that what you see is what you get. And,
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And you can learn a lot, too. We all have our own understandings of things, like the Mormon housewives. I thought that
Salt Lake City, so good.
You know what? That was so interesting because, you assume, well, you're very much, into a community, very religious, but these women are incredible, but they're very much about being real. They do things that you wouldn't think that they would do.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely an eye-opener. It's always great entertainment, though.
It is. And how they spin it in the storylines, you just stick with those storylines, and it's like you become like part of them in a really weird way. You become part of them, and it's like, I don't know, you follow these storylines and it's like, oh no, that happened to this person. Oh no, and then, you watch their life's moments. It's really fun. And I do think that Andy Cohen and those at Bravo and E and the writers and all the producers, they do such an amazing job of relaying different storylines and different cultures and backgrounds and such to everyday America. I think it's genius.
I think it's brilliant too. I have to say, your friend Andy is definitely, he's just brilliant and cute, by the way.
He is. He's so sweet. So coming up, some special guests, readings, and more from the Karyn Reece Show. Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. We are so excited to have our next guest with us. He's actually a close friend of mine from my previous job, and now he's on doing big and amazing things. Jason Kuperberg is the co-founder of Otherside AI in artificial intelligence, and he is just not only an incredible person, but a genius, and we are so excited to have him on the show. Jason, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks so much for having me. I'm doing well. I'm out here in Los Angeles, so not upstate New York right now, but doing well.
But you're from upstate. You're from Rochester. Yeah,
so I'm from Rochester. I went to Pittsford Mendon High School. Shout out. And then I went to Syracuse for college. So also Central New York, right around the corner. Definitely have strong roots there. But after graduating from college, I made my way west, and it's been pretty cool to be out here. So
East Coast misses you.
Yeah. Lucky you, I'll tell you. Anyways, can you explain a little bit about your backstory? About give us a little idea about where you were and how you got to be where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned, from upstate New York, from Rochester, went to Syracuse. When I went to Syracuse, I thought I was going to be a doctor, of course. And I kind of was on that track for a while. I was studying bio. I was doing some pretty interesting medical research. But it wasn't kind of how I enjoyed spending my time, right? I'd be in the lab these late nights, not getting to be out on campus interacting with my friends in the community. And research was great, but it was such like a long tail of the impact that I was going to make. And I was like, I kind of was thinking about that. And I was like, I want to have a more immediate impact. Like, I love being able to see the people and talk to the people that I'm impacting. And I kind of went through this transformation halfway through college. And I kind of took it upon myself to try out lots of different things and get involved with different communities. And I would say the second half of my time at Syracuse was really defined by the two main communities that I was part of, my Jewish community through Hillel and my kind of entrepreneurship startup community through the Blackstone Launchpad at Syracuse. And I really just became totally obsessed with those communities and doing everything for them when I was a student. And that carried over into what I was doing after I graduated. So I graduated in 2018, ended up studying biotechnology and entrepreneurship. So kind of this cool combination, still a little bit of that science. But when I graduated, I knew I wanted to combine these two communities that I was so passionate about. And that led to this wonderful opportunity for the Springboard Fellowship, with which Alexa is quite familiar with. I don't know if you've gotten into it before, but I was working as the innovation specialist at Hillel at Stanford University. So working with the Jewish community, Jewish students at Stanford on a variety of projects and initiatives. And while I was there, I got to take advantage of some other cool opportunities around campus. And that was 2 years, and that came to an end right as COVID was starting. And I was like, what is going on? What am I going to do next? And that kind of state of not knowing what was next and just going out there and trying different things is what led me to the company that I'm working on today.
That's an incredible story. I'm like so amazed. I think that, I think that's incredible. And I love the organizations that you've been involved with, like Hillel, I know a lot about. That's a great organization, great support, great people, so, and being able to put back in. And I think considering all the dynamics, the moving parts, COVID, whatever, I'm just impressed. I'm so impressed with you because you got to take an easy way out, just, Jason,
Thank you.
And he didn't. He didn't.
No.
So in 2020, so to leave off, you launched Otherside AI. So that's your company you co-founded, which is incredible. So can you explain like why you launched it, what it is, and like your impetus behind it?
Totally. So there's a bit of a fun backstory here, which is that when I finished the Springboard Fellowship in the spring, I was like, I'm just going to take some time off and try different side projects and travel around a little bit. So I lived in like Colorado for 2 months, Utah for a month. I was up in the Adirondacks for a month, just working on cool side projects and continuing to be involved in these communities that I mentioned before. And one of the things that I got was I was invited to judge a pitch competition at the Blackstone Launchpad. So for students who are working on startups. And it was actually through that where I really met my two co-founders, Matt and Miles. I had known about them before. We had some shared mentors, shared experiences. We had a bunch of people telling us like, oh, you guys are going to get along. You need to work on something together. But I was actually judging a pitch competition that they were presenting at. And Matt sent me a Zoom DM, just like a Zoom like we're in now. He sent me a message and was like, hey, I've heard great things about you. Love the feedback that you're giving. Let's connect. And I started talking to them the next day. I wasn't really doing much at the time because I was working on these side projects and some other little gigs and things. And I just started ramping up my involvement with them. And the company was still super early on in those days. So I was fortunate to kind of come on as the third co-founder. And since then, we've expanded pretty significantly, which has been exciting.
That's crazy.
So cool, isn't it?
So what actually is Otherside AI?
Totally. So our mission is to bring these really large-scale AI language models to improve the way that people are communicating and writing. So there are a lot of language models out there already, things like GPT-3, which some people might be familiar with. And then we're also training our own models, and we're bringing them to different communication tasks and writing tasks to kind of augment humans, right? So we can sit there and we can type out everything letter by letter, word for word. We had typewriters before we had computers. And when we got computers, computers really augmented what we were able to do, right? Word processors, Microsoft Word and things like that. But we want to build the next generation of that. And that's kind of what we're working on now. So we have one consumer product called HyperWrite out there right now. And we've got a lot of really cool things that we're working on as well.
That's just so forward thinking. I love that. I mean, you're just for a young man, you have done so many great things. It's just so impressive. You have no idea.
Thank you.
Quick question. I mean, did you ever along the way think of getting involved into AI? Because I know you'd mentioned that you wanted to go into medicine and
Absolutely. So I don't think I definitely, if you had asked me 10 years ago when I was in middle school or high school or something, I definitely would not have predicted this. But I always knew that I wanted to make an impact in some way. I think that's what drove me to be involved in these communities. And that kind of is still my mission today, is how can I make the most positive impact on the most people, right? And by being involved with kind of the latest and greatest of technologies is how I feel like I'm capable or best going to be able to do that, especially right now. So when we got access to GPT-3, when we're working on kind of like the cutting edge of some of these technologies, that is what's going to enable me, in my opinion, on this journey to impact as many people as possible. So no, I don't think I would have predicted artificial intelligence as something I was involved in, but yes, kind of technology and new technology specifically.
That's crazy. So what was your biggest obstacle in, getting involved with artificial intelligence, specifically Otherside AI, and like, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, totally. So I think there are kind of like two sides to come at this from. One is like my personal experience, right? I mentioned I studied biotechnology and entrepreneurship. So I had some of that experience. I had worked with and on some startups in the past, and that was really valuable, but I'm not kind of what you would call like a technical founder, right? I'm not, I can code a little bit, but I'm not the one building most of our stuff. And that was kind of a barrier to overcome. But because some of the technologies that we're working with are so new, we're able to be at the top of them and kind of have the deepest understanding of them, even if it's not something that I have a background in. So there was a learning curve there, but once we kind of got over that learning curve, we were kind of in the upper echelon of folks who are utilizing these technologies. I think the other thing is that we're relatively young guys. Like, we've done a lot and we've experienced a lot, and we've worked at businesses and companies and startups in the past, but this is kind of on the scale that none of us have ever done that before. So I graduated from college a couple of years ago, but my two co-founders who I mentioned earlier, Matt and Miles, they actually dropped out of college to work on this company. And yeah, so now we're living together and kind of seeing them develop when most of their peers are in college has been fascinating, and getting to do it in this environment has been really, really incredible.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. There you go. Anyway, quick question. Do you see this as a stepping stone? And if so, do you see something, different in the future? Or do you think you're going to always be in AI?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to continue to be driven by this impact, right, that I was mentioning before. I want to create impact. I want to improve people's lives in some way. I think for this next period of my life, that is going to be through this company. I know that it is going to be that. But long term, I definitely see myself branching out. This isn't something that I've talked a ton about with a lot of people, but some of my closer friends I have these conversations with all the time. But I think there's a really interesting kind of intersection between business and technology and government and politics. And that's actually something that I'm really interested in moving forward, especially given this impact that I want to have. And I think that the way that I can do that is by combining these things.
Love it. So where can our audience find more about you if they want to connect with you or Otherside AI or just like anything in general? How can they get in touch with you?
Totally. So you can just look me up. Any social media is great. If you look up Otherside AI, you'll see like our website. HyperWrite was the product I mentioned before. So that's something that people can go out and use and actually interact with this really powerful AI, which is kind of just a magical experience when you experience it for the first time. But would definitely love to connect with anyone who's out there.
Awesome. Jason, thank you so much. It was so great seeing you again. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. As always, anytime Karyn's around, spirit's around. So if you would like to win a reading to potentially hear about your future or connect with your deceased loved ones, you may do so by visiting our website at www.karynreece.com, spelled KarynReece.com. You can also visit us on Facebook at Karyn Reece Psychic Medium, or on Twitter and on Instagram at Karyn Reece. In your submission, make sure that you write your first and last name, your phone number, your email address, and why you deserve to win a reading. So today we have a very lucky winner with us who wrote in on Instagram. Kendra, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys?
Good. Karyn, take it away.
My God, Kendra, you're a very popular girl on the other side. You've got a grandpa coming in, a bunch of people, but your one grandpa on your mom's side keeps coming in. He's drawing me a big fat heart. He's also talking about cooking. Have you been like improving with your cooking lately, or you think you're making strides? Is there like something funny about your cooking? He's laughing about that.
My best friend was on MasterChef, so she's been kind of teaching me her way, you know?
It's a chef connection. Now that makes perfect sense. He says, keep up the good work. On the Debbie connection, he says, connected to Debbie. Debbie, is that a friend of yours? Who's the Deb?
That's my mom.
Okay, that would make sense. It's her dad. You must have been really...
That's my mom. Yep.
Good woman. She's a great lady. She worries a little too much, but she loves her mom. And by the way, I saw Marriage with You. Grandpa said, I'll be there. I'll give your mother a hug and a kiss too from Grandpa. Do you play cards ever with your boyfriend? I see you playing cards or talking cards or something. Were you thinking about playing little cards, like gambling or something, or cards? He's talking about playing cards.
I actually have a box of cards, dating cards I actually bought for him this weekend.
Cards.
They're dating cards, yeah.
Wait, you bought your boyfriend dating cards?
So my best friend, she bought these like dating cards, just like asking questions and relationships, but she left it with me. She said, you should, use it this weekend. So I'm going to surprise him with it, but I don't know if that's relative to it.
That's
but
the cards he's talking about. He said something cards with your boyfriend. That's what he's talking about. I'm thinking he knows what you're doing. He goes, tell my granddaughter. He goes, I like those cards. I like them. Make sure you put one in there that writes on, when will you plan on marrying me, or will you marry me? He likes them because I like my granddaughter's boyfriend.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
So the cards, that's hilarious. Well, just know when you and your boyfriend are playing cards, the thing is, Grandpa will be watching, just so you know.
Okay, I'll be on my best behavior.
He's laughing. He's talking about a fireman connection or fireman. Have you been around firemen, or is your dad a fireman? What? I'm going back and forth. He says fireman like your dad. What is he talking about?
So my dad, years back, he wanted to get into firefighting, and my sister begged him not to when she was younger. So my dad, that was his first job, firefighter.
I want to go back to these cards. I think that's hilarious that your grandfather knows about these like romantic cards that you'll be playing with him.
I think that's funny too. This just happened like 2 days ago. She gave them to me. She said, you should, bring these this weekend for our little picnic I have planned.
Your grandfather said, never take no for an answer. Do what you want to do. Don't listen to others. Listen to what you feel is right, which you will do. And I definitely see children in your future, and I see a strong marriage. You're all about family, though. All about family. Family's number one. I love what I see. When you start with your family, that's all that's going to matter. You'll be very active with your children. The name Henry comes up too, so keep that in mind. So there may be a name connection with one of your children. So Hank the Tank or Little Henry. Yeah.
Okay. I like that name. That's cute.
It might be like a middle name. Yeah, like a John.
I've been talking about kids a lot lately and how I want to have kids really badly. That's been I've been talking about that.
Well,
baby fever, really bad.
You're really doing a fine job learning your cooking. Grandpa said you're improving because you've got the chef. He kept saying the chef connection. So you are learning. I'm feeling you're on a good path. He's laughing all about that. One other thing too, I do see a lot of water related things in your future, like maybe a little whitewater rafting, a little kayaking. I get that into your future for fun. So those will be some little fun things that, the two of you will do. But your grandfather loves your boyfriend. He's going to be excited when you start playing with those cards. I had no idea what he was talking about. Don't you like how they know what's going on?
That's crazy. That's so random. Like, how would you ever know that?
Because
I didn't tell
he's
anyone.
nosy.
We've been talking about marriage and kids a lot lately, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I saw him talking marriage with you too, by the way. I'm like, he is your man. He's a really good guy. Who's the Ed? Wait, did he lose a father? Yes. No, an uncle.
Yes, he lost an uncle. He lost an uncle last year.
Yeah, he's right here. I want to just, yes. Tell my nephew he's a lucky man to have a beautiful woman. Lucky man. Yes. So his uncle, that's him. Who's Bill, by the way? Was that a friend of your boyfriend's, or is that William, Bill, friend? Just heard that name.
Bill, I don't know about
In the
Bill.
living. Yeah, I saw him with that name in the living. I'm getting that psychically, so your boyfriend will connect in work-wise. But his uncle said, I'm very proud. Also, who's the Ed connection? Ed, Ted, Fred?
Ed is my grandfather.
Okay, stop it, Ed. You're killing me. Yeah. Ed, just tell her, Ed. Okay, boys, calm it down. They're all excited. So listen, your side, his side, everybody's side, they're all excited about this connection. You're going to go on to do great things. Your grandfather blew you a big kiss. Anytime you need them, the boys, both your father's dad and mom's dad are there. So we all approve of your boyfriend. So in your little cards, I would personally write some things down. Tell your boyfriend that his uncle said, stop talking, Ed, calm it down. They're all talking
Ed,
at once.
hold on, Ed. Hold on. The medium needs a chance to catch up.
You know,
He's a talker.
Oh, he is. You are a lot like your grandpa. You have a lot of his great traits with, people and connections. But give your boyfriend a big blessing. And grandma says she expects a nice size one. Your boy toy, grandma said that. But welcome to the family, Ed said, and your uncle-in-law said, welcome to our family. I love my nephew and I can't help but love my niece-in-law. That's you.
Oh my God, he's going to lose it when I tell him this. Oh my God. Wow. I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I love them too. So give them my love too.
Well, Kendra, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully this gave you the peace and the closure you need. Karyn, thank you as always. And Spirit, thank you.
And thank me too, Ed said. Okay, really?
Sorry. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed, for making your presence known today.
I love him. Oh my God. Thank you guys. This was absolutely amazing. I'm speechless.
Awesome.
So thank
Thank
you. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. As always, if you would like to connect with Karyn, you may do so by visiting our website at www.karynreece.com, spelled KarynReece.com. You can also call our office phone at 716-580-2520. You can follow her on Facebook at Karyn Reece Psychic Medium, or on Instagram and on Twitter at Karyn Reece. You can also send her an email at Karyn, Karyn, with the little @ sign, KarynReece.com. You can make sure in your email to send us if you have suggestions as to who you would like to have on the show, if you would like to win a reading, or anything in between. As always, your readings are incredible and you touch so many lives through your readings and your interviews. They're just amazing. And I feel like it's a reality show with you every day. Like, you literally never
reality show or a real reality show?
A real reality show. You never know what you're getting. People say that all the time. Like, how you guys have this natural dynamic? Honestly, it's us.
It's insanity.
It's us.
Yeah.
We don't script it. It's literally the only thing that is different is that there's cameras with us. That's it.
That's a good thing, or is it a bad thing?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It is funny. It is true, though. We do always have something. And then we have, like, crazy things that go on in our office, too, which is not something I do or you do.
No, it's
like lights going.
Paranormal stuff, but
doors opening.
Ugh.
It's just all in,
I know, and it
day's
freaks
work.
me out. It freaks me out, but I've gotten used to it.
Isn't it kind of funny, though? It's ironic. A reality lifestyle with alternate realities interfering with our reality-based lifestyle. It's kind of like an oxymoron in a weird way.
Absolutely.
But what are we going to do this week?
Watch more reality. I love it.
Me
so
too.
Housewives, Big Brother, all in between. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Get the cake and the cookies. Bake the cake and the cookies.
I will. Anything you want me to bake, I will. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of The Karyn Reece Show.